Physical and mental suffering ceased with the dropping of his body. Spiritual suffering continues, being bound in us. And being bound in us, he again has his physical suffering, mental suffering, spiritual suffering. Because of that infinite spiritual suffering, he finds himself, experiences himself bound in us, like that.
Which is one of the things that made me see perhaps the meaning of don't worry and be happy. That seemed such a superficial thing when I first heard it. But the less we worry, the less suffering we cause him, and the more we're happy.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. If at all we want to take accept the fact that we are something, that's the thing.
All what beings?
What?
All beings.
Beings and things. Not beings, but beings.
Beings.
No, it's true. It's true. And whatever little significance that may dawn upon in your mind, you see, in your heart or anything like that, it's because of involvement with him. That's all. Having the ring around one's finger means that story I told you, remember you were here?
Yes.
Ring on the teapot or on the table there has no price. It's worthless. Royal signet ring of the king. It's a metal, something like that. Of what worth it is? Nothing. But the ring round his finger, that same ring comes around his finger, is priceless. So likewise, we all should be round his finger. Then we get the worth.
Of the other party, and not being fulfilled that idea. That may be also a vested interest.
Ideal.
Yeah.
One's ideal.
Expectation.
Of someone else.
Yeah.
That's
Is that a vested interest?
A vested interest can also be an expectation.
Yes, of that other party.
Unfulfilled.
Yeah, one of the common complaints is that one or the other feels that that partner is not fulfilling. They don't feel fulfilled in this relationship. I mean, that's what is said.
But that has to be shelved, you see.
Yeah.
If you go and see to that side, that is, harboring such a thought in itself is a vested interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even wanting
Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Harboring such a thought or trying your mind to tempt you into thinking that way is in itself a vested interest that brings about the situations like this.
People
Has nothing to do with that. What has that to do? Yeah.
But people will say, well, why we even get married if you don't even get fulfillment in it? That's...
fulfillment of what? Tell me.
Okay.
Tell me now.
Fulfillment. We started to say fulfillment of responsibilities, and then you said fulfillment.
No, fulfillment, like of being happy. Fulfillment.
What is the criterion for happiness? What's the criteria for happiness?
Well, one of the common things that's breaking up marriages is one or the other feeling neglected. A feeling that they are not really seen and appreciated for what they are. The husband comes in and how you doing, honey, and this and that.
So that's what that whole.
Even that's vested interest for someone to expect to be appreciated, to be seen kind of a little more for who they are, really are.
Yeah.
Even that is asking too much.
Yes. Love needs no such things. It goes overboard. Yes, nothing to do with all these things. Yeah.
So that's the crux of a lot of breakup marriages. But there should be something there that's fulfilling. Otherwise, why am I staying with this man? That's one of the complaints.
But this is so insidious. It happens all your life, and once you let the edge of it in, it grows and grows and grows, and you forget that's not what you got married for. You got married to give.
Yeah.
If you have a wacky idea and wacky notions of fulfillment, then who can help you? We all started with that, I forget about these things. You see, when it comes up, then it's ripe. Then it's just patchy now, it becomes. But the thing is that the very fact, when you begin with it, base your things on sacrifice, giving in, offering. That's what we were discussing the other day, isn't it? That's the very basis of a married life. So, if neglect is there from one party, that gives an opportunity to the other party. That cannot be the excuse for divorce, because that gives a greater scope for the other party to give in. What I am saying is, see the difference. She asks me about it. How was I? How did I feel? I didn't feel myself wretched. On the contrary, I felt myself so pure, so good. I was the person, you see, who took pride in myself, being so straight, so honest. Never any person found me to be angry. Never any person had heard any lies from me, or ill feelings were created by me for anybody. I was so good, so loving. Such a nice young man, you see. And I was proud about myself. There was no such feeling of being wretched or anything. But before I came to Baba, there was no need for me to approach God, because I was godly in myself, within myself. Yeah. It was a fact. It's true like that. The situation was that. Then when I came to Baba, all this surfaced. I became first-class liar. I became one of the worst short-tempered person in the community here with the Mandali. I used to hurt the feelings of so many people around, the elders and all that. Yeah, I used to be rude to Baba, and everything. You may take it. I never did anything. I became a drunkard. I became a smoker. I used to lavishly spend money and all that sort of thing. All those traits that were never to be found in me before I joined Baba surfaced here, and that was telling upon me. But luckily, by His grace, I became aware of it. What's the matter with me? Yeah, that's also His grace, mind you. To become aware is a greater step towards Him. So I became aware about it. I was so good before coming to Him. I should become better or best by joining Him, naturally. But it becomes more worse, you see. What is this? That's the time when Baba comforted me. The same thing. But he told me a different thing. You were a sugar cane in my palm, he said. And I cut you and then extracted juice out of that cane. Till that time it was all right. But if I had to keep the juice as it is, it would ferment and get into vinegar. But I wanted it to be crystallized into sugar. So I put it in a boiling pot. And when you start boiling, naturally the scum, although everything is sugary, no doubt, it's so sweet. You are sugarcane itself. But still it is there. The scum is there, the dirt is there, you see, of our animal ancestors, and everything is there. So when I boil it, naturally the thing comes to the surface and you feel yourself alerted. What's this? I'm not this. But it was in you. It does come up. So all that I do is, when it comes up, I just throw the scum out, you see, and allow the pure juice to boil and then crystallize into crystals. So don't be afraid of what you see there on the surface. See, pay heed to the substance that you are, all sweetness, and about to be transformed into sugar, crystals. This is what he told.
And isn't this true about these marriages we're talking about? It's underneath there.
Yeah, it's all underneath, everything is there, but these are the experiences, you see. You have to take experiences this way, that way, and all that.
We think we're...
But if you want to get rid of all these things, you all have been asking, so that's what we say, the fundamental, the basis of all this is life of sacrifice, life of understanding, life of giving in. All this is there. It's not a joke, it's not fun to have a married life. It's a discipline. You enter into a sort of a, what do you call, what is that called, Pardon?
A contract?
Lifelong.
Yeah, it's a contract, but what is that discipline, spiritual discipline you call it among Catholics,
Covenant?
It's a covenant, yeah, it's like that.
The holy state of matrimony.
Yeah.
Sacrament.
Whatever you call it, you see, that's how it is. We take it to be a great fun, we spread parties and have dances and drinks and all that and fun, fine. Have honeymoon, yeah, go ahead, then what? Then separation and bye-bye and good friends. Yeah.
We have to grow up, the same as you're talking about
Make a
growing
lot
up
of
with
friendships.
Baba. You have to grow up.
Yeah, you have to grow up, you have to learn through experiences, learn through... The best way of learning in married life is through giving in. And just see the response then. But nobody wants to give in. I put my foot down and you put your foot down. I put my foot forward. That's how it is. Think good of others. Just as Mani asked for a very short prayer. You have heard that story from her father. She's a lazy woman, A child at the time when she is going to school, she plays all about, and then at the time of examination, she longs for some help, spiritual help as well as material. She says that I will cram the lessons and my father should pray for me. So every time it will be like that. So after her examination, of course, it worked out very well between the two. But after some time, she has a thought, why can't I learn the prayer also myself? So the father says, she asks father for a prayer which will be just 1 minute prayer, something. So her father says to her that I will teach you a prayer which won't even take a minute. The minute was the least time factor at that time. So what is that prayer? Won't take a minute also. She says, yes. Never think ill of others. That is the only prayer. Think of doing good to others, all others will want to do good to you. Think of doing anything evil to others, all others will want to do evil to you. It's like that. You are repaid in your own coins. Tea is there. Aloba is getting wild. We should think good of Aloba.
Only we can remember before the...
All that I know about it all is, there is a book on this. Aloba has got it because it prophesies many things to come. So there is a book, he is very fond of all these things. But what I heard personally about it, I personally heard about them was that there were 3 messages given to these kids, some time back. And they have been reportedly delivered to the Pope of the time in the Vatican. And he had gone through these 3 messages. He shared the 2 messages out of the 3 with the public sometime in the past, but he retained one of the messages, and the last message was that he has come again and walks the earth, and he has come again in 1894 or something like that. The date is given. And that has been retained, not publicized. And this was told to me by one of the Baba lovers who was in Miami, Florida. There was a Baba meeting, and a certain person comes there in the meeting and finds out that this particular place and the assemblage is talking about somebody whom they take to be Christ. And then he later on found out that his birth year was 1894. That struck him. Yes. He says, I was a sort of a valet of the Pope at the time. And at the time when these messages were brought and they were being discussed, I overheard these things. I know it. But 2 messages were given out and 1 has been retained. I don't know why.
When was that? When was this thing? This is all 2nd or 3rd or 4th hand, you said.
No.
Yeah,
But when did the original incident happen? It was turn of the century, like 1910 or something like that.
World War I.
Or later than that, wasn't it?
What, do you know where his children was
France.
France?
No, was it France, no?
Or Spain.
Was it
Spain or France or something. There is a book here.
Was it Spain?
But I haven't paid much attention to these things, you see. These things are there. Third-hand information comes to us. What have we to do with that? Yes, we know this much, that he was born in 1894. We are in the know of it. We need not be told by a third person, you see, about it. So that's all. That is, but it didn't register as something very important to me, because he is that. So what? But it is of great importance to people, that who are on the verge. They are sitting on the fence, whether we should accept him as the one who has come again, or should not, or should we, should not. So to them, little straws are helpful.
No, they want more secret.
You see, he has said that his grace, had it not been for the law of grace, we all stand to be for total damnation forever. Puny creatures as we are, not knowing what we are doing or what we are saying and how we are living, it is only because of His grace that sustains us. There is a thing called law of grace, which also supersedes the law of justice, divine justice. If justice demands that we should be condemned eternally. We have no standing, we have nothing. But because of His grace, we come to life, and somehow or other, we are accepted by Him. And He says that grace is ever flowing. It is for us to take advantage of the flow of the grace that is there. It's all pervading, always, at all times. When you create the thirst, then you go to the water. Otherwise, there is the water there, the rivers are flowing, the water is there to drink, the faucets are running, everything. Only when you need water, then you go to it. Likewise, grace is everywhere, only when you have the thirst. So what happens is, to have the thirst itself is also His grace. So that when you have the thirst for the grace, you go to the grace. To create that grace that helps you to develop the thirst for it is the way that one has to live in the world. How we should live is see that the least that we can do is to see that we don't displease Him and try to hold on to Him, remember Him, repeat His name, and all this is there. And then the grace comes, you see, descends upon you, that creates the thirst so that you can take full advantage of the grace that is ever flowing. For that you have to naturally have an effort. That effort is to discipline yourself. What is the discipline? Discipline is to, remember, try to find out the cause of creation, what has happened, who is the creator, from where have you come, what are you doing, why are you here, is the purpose of your life to just struggle and survive through struggle? No, the purpose is quite different. There are millions of people here who are doing, is this the purpose of life? No, then you begin to think. And then you begin to remember Him. You begin to, somehow or other, a ray of little hope comes. Well, maybe that if I remember Him, or maybe that the one who, what I am thinking about is being registered by someone there, some force, someone, something that is there. And so you begin to cultivate the habit of getting in tune with Him and remember Him. That remembrance has to be extended, has to be frequent, every now and then, and so forth. Then you can get in tune with Him. That makes the grace descend upon you. That gives you the thirst to seek out His grace, to surrender to Him. And when you surrender to Him, then it's all over. But that surrender is the initial surrender. After that, His grace again continues to flow. then time and again you surrender. Each year you make a resolve to surrender to Him. That surrender leads you to further surrender of each month, each week, and every day. Then you live a life of surrender to Him. It's like that. So without His grace, there's nothing. It is only through His grace that we can surrender to Him and become His. Well, if you are a slave, Mark, in the market, world market of slavery, there must be a person, you see, you are a slave, you call yourself to be, you are open for sale. But if there is no purchaser, then what will happen? Nothing. So it's like that. So for that, you have to exert a little effort to put yourself up, you see, to be attractive, to incite the one who would want to go in for you, you see. Look your best, you see, at the time, so that he gets you, buys you. For that, the effort is needed. To draw his attention. Draw, what will you do? Suppose if you are there, you are put on the stage there. What do you call it? The stage you call it, where the slaves are sold?
Auction block.
Auction block or what? Yeah. So where the auction is taking place, there you are standing there. What you do is try to attract the attention, you see, of the buyer. So likewise, we have to draw the attention. If you want to become a slave, you have to draw the attention of your Lord. And that attention can be drawn through these things. Remember Him. Yeah. Think of Him. Try to remain presentable to Him. These are the things. Otherwise we stand for total damnation. There's no way out. But that doesn't sound to be a happy note, you know. We are not made for that, for total damnation or anything of the sort. But it is said so. So what is in fact, in reality, that will be more optimistic than being so pessimistic about our being? That is, that we are not. That one thing is so great, you see, which this fellow doesn't want to hear, you see. But that is the most optimistic thing, you see, that we can think of, that we are not at all. We have nothing to do with it at all. If we can accept the fact that we are not, we are already surrendered to Him. We have been trying to put our image forward, we succeed, we fail. There are people struggle for wealth, we know. They are struggling for happiness, they get wealth. They have palaces, they are the kings, have their kingdoms, but still there is something lacking in them. What is it? So all these things, you see, are efforts on our part to analyze, dissect and ponder upon. And that then draws the attention of the buyer, the Lord, to accept you. All that is around the world brings home to you the futility of your being. You kid into believing that you are. So that should not be. The fact is you are not. And you assert you are. It's always like that. What in reality is that all of us are not and He alone is. But we, through our pretensions, have created a life where we accept the fact that we are and He is not. So the stage has to change, take a different turn. The scenes are different, you see. And that can be had by His grace. To have His grace, you have to attract His attention.
But Eruch, can't you attract His attention also instead of looking sharp through indifference to Him?
Through indifference to Him also, yes, you can. If you remember your indifference is so determined to be indifference that you remember Him, then also you attract. But if you have a passive indifference, then nothing. You stand for total damnation, condemnation forever. But if your indifference is active, then it reminds you of him, remember him, you see. That can help.
What do you mean by damnation forever?
No,
Continuing
nothing. Continue with your, just grind all the time.
But except love is absolutely irresistible. So he's got stacked, we can't in the end resist.
End is different, you see. We are so impatient, we want it instantaneously. That's what we are talking about, you see. End is there, of course. We are not talking about the end.
Well, eternal damnation sounds sort of like...
So that's what, in our own language we say eternal damnation. Going on and no, never ending chain, you see. It's like that.
Caught in time forever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Mm.
It has nothing to do with Dante and hellfire.
No, nothing to do with that. Don't be afraid of that. Yes.
That's right here.
No.
I mean, there's no outer darkness.
No, well, I won't go so far as to say that.
I just ask a question.
Loudly.
If you try and recognise that Barbara is and that we are not,
Yeah.
well, and that everything in the material world is just an illusion, how is it possible to really act in that world with any kind of concern? I mean, not concern for other people, but how can you get back in that illusory world with any kind of conviction that it matters?
How do you hold on the job?
The thing is that hold on the job, be very active and all that, but time and again, keep your awareness focused on the fact that all this is illusory and you are playing a role, a part. It's just like a puppet plays its role. There's neither, really speaking, any personality there, or any stage there, or anything. The one behind the stage is pulling strings and making you act. If you have that behind your mind, you involve yourself in all the activities and you sail through happily through all these things, which is a fact, which is the truth. That behind it all is the puppeteer. But the puppets, somehow or other, so linked with the truth of existence that they carry with them the stamp of existence. They carry the stamp of assertions, which is the prerogative only of truth to assert itself. But because we are linked with it, because he has put the glove in to pull the strings, that link is there. Those little impressions, you may call it, or the vibes, you see, that makes us feel that I am. And assertions are there. Makes us feel real. We assert our existence as real. All these things percolate because of our link with him. Because of the link with him means the puppeteer. So while enacting your, all right, you have got that. It's good to have those vibes, good to be linked with the truth. It's a great blessedness. Yeah, it's true, and that's true, very good. But then what we miss is, we miss this, that awareness, that we are just playing the role. He's the one who makes us play the role. We are just carrying out what he wants us to do. He wants us to put our hands up, so we put our hands. We play that game, you see. But we forget that. So it doesn't debar us from carrying out all our activities in illusion. It is there, it is meant for that. All this is there. All this has been created to remember him, to keep him in focus, that he is the one behind it all. But we miss that. Time and again we miss that. How many times we must have spoken about it here? Each day brings us the same thing back to the same statement, you see. And yet we forget. It slips. And this is also with a purpose, that it slips our mind, slips our attention, slips from our awareness. Why? If it is there constantly, how will we gain the experience? We have to gain these experiences. You have to become a woman, you have to become a man, you have to become rich, you have to become poor, you have to cry, you have to laugh loudly, you have to be carefree, you have to be burdened with all cares. All these impressions gathered together make you then aware for once and for all times that you are not and he alone is. That's how it is.
But Eruch,
These opposites, you see. Here we make believe. Yeah, Baba has said that the world is nothing but illusion. But illusion is, isn't it? I am. But I am because of him. Again, go on, go back to him, all your activities go back to him. And then it will be a nice thing. Have all the experiences, live through all the experiences, go through all that, collect all the experiences, and you then get yourself established in the fact, I am not, and he alone is. That experience is where you really are not. You don't experience yourself. Your selfness is shed and his he-ness is manifested. Yes, what is it?
I was going to say, sticking with that analogy that you used of sort of a doll or something, or a puppet put on the hand, that, let's say, the puppet, really speaking, is an inanimate object, that it's only the hand that fits it, then gives it life, that says, I'm Lucky the monkey, or whatever name we, Eruch or Gary or whatever, that gives it life. But
why? Because it is attached to eternal life.
To the hand.
Yeah, to the substance.
But it's like, so I could see, using the analogy that, let's say, when this body or your body or anybody says, I am real, it's not true. But if what I'm saying is it really that puppet monkey speaking, or is the voice really coming from the depths of my being, that somewhere inside, that something that's not connected with my body is making a statement, I am real? Isn't it the hand that gives it the life to say that to begin with? The body could have never said that.
It is the puppeteer who says that. You have seen puppet shows.
Yeah.
Do the puppets say anything? They change the voice, and the puppeteer says that anything. He says that I am this, I am that, and eventually he says I am this.
No, but that's my point. That the monkey can't say anything on its own. So even if I say I am real, that comes from the base of reality.
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, it is.
Because what you say is just the puppet on its own can't say anything. So what I'm saying is, it is God that has to get over his own illusion, and not any illusion that I have to get rid of. It is God's misunderstanding that makes me say it in a misunderstanding fashion.
Because you weren't there anyway.
Yeah.
Because whatever you associate as this dead inanimate object isn't there.
As long as he's playing the game, you stand no chance.
Right.
That's what I said. You see, in that letter.
I know.
These two ducks again.
So my point is that what is the use of telling individuals, try this process, try that, rethink that? It just seems to me that it's an inevitable play of the puppeteer within you, and it'll take its own time and mold its own fashion.
That's true. That's what I said to her. That's what I said to her, that these are important things for you. In spite of it all, you think about it. You have to become woman, you have to become man, you have to become big, you have to become so. Because of the experiences, it will be only this that will lead you to actually experience you are not. Means, how will you shed yourself? How will you be not? Because it is the puppeteer speaking through you. But it's the puppet that feels, that asserts that I am speaking. You follow? And makes other people accept the fact that puppeteers make love, puppets make love and all that sort of thing. But the puppeteer is the only one who who does all these things. So, what happens with us we are attached to the puppeteer, and we are just playing the role. But while playing the role, what happens to us is, although the puppeteer speaks out from us, that, well, I am great, I am big, I am this and I am that, being attached to the truth of it all, the puppet itself feels that I am great. That is wrong. That's the mind. That mind that is there, that experiences that I am. Who says I am not? I am. So that is in the way. That has to be annihilated. That's the thing.
But he does say to the puppet, you choose. So the puppet has some say.
What
Get
do you
right
choose?
back again. Baba says, awake now. Choose to awake now.
Yeah, he says so. He tells us so. He wants us to choose now instantaneously, but you want to have your own way. He says, have your own way, play the game more. But who says this? Baba on the seat says that to us. Baba in us says, I want to play the game of my parents. Continue to play the game. That is the game. Thing is that he is the one who is playing this game in a varied way, you see. And makes us believe that we are doing it. We are, it's not we who are.
And he wants you, Eruch, to choose to love him, Baba, or else there was
When he sits there, he says that to us. But he tells whom? He doesn't tell Eruch. He tells himself in Eruch to love him. Yeah.
But Eruch, the point of my question.
There comes a moment when we need the help of the master. We need the help of the puppeteer.
Yeah.
And she wants to know how that fits in. When is that moment? How does that relate to the fact that the puppeteer is holding the strings anyway?
Yeah, the thing is that puppeteer, after having had those experiences, having gone through all the opposites of that, he sees the futility of it, that he is not the one. Then he begs to reveal, he begs the puppeteer to reveal himself. Who is behind it all? I feel it that I am doing it, but I am not doing it. I know it now. I am becoming aware about the futility of my being. So why don't you reveal? No sooner he reveals, I am not. That's all. That's the only thing. So the moment is when we are fed up of our own game, of assertions. It does give. There's no doubt about it. How much more it is to me.
No, but Eruch, my contention is that there really is no puppet. That what you talk about is the hand behind, that, let's say, it continues to give life to Eruch, and it's like the puppeteer may so identify with the role, the almost the extension of his personality that he's playing through his hand, but as soon as he takes out his hand, there is no role whatsoever. There is no such thing as mind as being separate, or heart, or this or that. It's the only thing there is the hand that gives it life, and as long as that hand wants to identify with that role, it'll identify with that role. So there is no such thing of me trying to get over this and this. If you're thinking that me trying to get over this and this, that's what the hand is plugging in to play at that moment. That it's not some kind of a trick that the puppet all of a sudden identified with certain life and is trying to get over. It's only there. The only reason I am who I am is because God wants to experience this role as for the same with everybody else in this room.
Yeah, brother, that's very, 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 very true. But this awareness that has dawned upon you is because of him having taken the seat and come here as another puppet to tell this puppet. Yeah, it is
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So he comes as another big, great puppet, you know, and he plays that role. His body is also like a puppet.
Yeah.
The puppeteer is behind it, you see. So he relates with the puppet as a puppet.
No.
And the puppeteer there has to come to bring this awareness into us. And we speak out like puppets. You see, parrots, again the same thing.
That's right.
Yeah. So unless and until he brings home to us these things, you see. And we again narrate the thing, you know. But with all this, what happens is the process of him being bound in us, him playing the process of winding up the game in some of us, some of the puppets. So his coming over here is to wind up the game in some of the puppets. Yeah, because they have become old, tattered, they won't be able to play the part more now, and so forth and so on.
But I mean, isn't the role more like a disguise, like somebody who is multi-handed, let's say, not just two, not just hundreds, millions, billions, or infinite number of hands that he could put infinite number of puppets about, but one being from which it's generated, and so it's like with the same puppeteer with everyone, just talking. It's like the hand is there, and these are only just makeup, for a chance to talk to ourselves.
Yeah, it is.
But then
it is like that.
But then there's only one. So who's he doing the show for?
That's what started the whole
That's
thing.
the joke. That's the absurdity.
This show is for his own pleasure.
Yeah.
That's what he has said in the beginning.
That's
He
the
al-
mighty joke.
Yeah, that's the mighty joke, you see. What has happened is, we have been telling, Baba has told us about it, that for whom is he doing it? Why is he doing it? Why all this involvement? Why do you bring us into the picture, you see? If you are the one, so he says, what can I do? I have got different attributes. And one of the attributes which has brought about the whole thing is love. And that attribute of infinite love, inherent in itself, is to share the love. It is so. It is the trait of love is that it must flow. It must be shared. It is in its very nature, you see. And he is infinite love. So it needs to flow, it needs to be shared. But share with whom? There's nobody to share. How to share it now? But it has the tremendous urge. The potential is there to share. So how could that potential be put into action, you see? So he said, this is how he explained to us. He said, have you seen a person who is sick and ill, not knowing what to do? So how does he pass his time? He plays a game of solitaire. Have you seen the game of solitaire? Solitaire, is it a French word?
Yeah, I played it this morning.
He brought this word into, and he told us. We didn't know that because it's a French game or something like that. He says, so he makes believe that here is Jeff, here is Eruch, here is Rosemary, here is Madeline, here is Rick, Gary, and all these things are there. And then he plays the game himself and derives pleasure, joy, bliss out of it. Making the person lose or making the person win, and making this and making him manifest as Jack and King and Queen, and all that sort of thing is there. So because of that inherent trait of infinite love to be shared, I began to imagine, and through this imagination cropped up this creation, you see. And because that imagination is linked to, who is imagining? Whose imagination is that? Of eternal, infinite existence. So it is the imagination of that infinite existence. So in imagining, it carried with it the stamp of existences, you see. They started cropping up. That's how we are. And because they are totally linked with the substance, so the assertion, his assertion is the, I am. So that I am gets translated into illusion, you see, the imagination that is illusion. And you assert, I am Jeff. But you are not. Then the whole thing has come round his neck, you see. It's like a Frankenstein that has cropped up, you see. He says that. And then I feel so sad and myself bound in it. I say, you are not that. I am the one. He says, no, I am. I am Jeff. Who are you? I am the maker of you. He says, no, I am. See, that's how the game is. You follow? That's how his spiritual suffering is. Seeing us bound in it. Mental suffering is that you don't want to pay heed to what I say now, you see.
So because God is an old and bored old man, we got to go through this?
But we, where are you see? It is we means it's God himself, you see, who's speaking. It's like that.
But it is
the
for
headache.
love. It is for love.
It is all for
then the answer to Rosemary's question of why should we bother, it's because we must play the role he's given us the best we can because of his love, maybe. He will love us more.
Because of love. That it is because it all stemmed from love, and all that is happening is because of love, and all that is bound to end in the result, happy result, is because of his love. There's nothing beyond it.
The game is worth the candle after all.
The creation, the purpose of creation, in creation that we are now, human beings, creatures, animals or anything, there is nothing but love. To experience that love. And especially human form is such that it is ripe, mature, to express love, be loved and be loving all the time. So that's how it is. So the charm of loving is to be experienced in this creation.
Why is there so much perversion, so much hatred and anger now? Then,
just a minute. So, this creation is meant to experience fully, completely that aspect, that attribute of the Creator, love. To love, to be loved, and be loving. And that's why he says, my message in this illusory world is what? Love me. Because I have created you to love me. I want your love. I have given you my love. I have shared my love with you. You love me now. But he said, no, I don't want to love. I want to love Mary. I want to love Jane. I want to love Jeff and this and that. But I am the one. I want love from you. It is because I wanted to share that love I created you. He says, no. Who says you created me? I am fathered by somebody. I did this, I did that. And assertions take place. Because, why these assertions are? Because we are directly linked to the supreme assertion, I am. You follow? I don't know how to express further. Is there any English?
There's no further expression. Otherwise you go into paradox.
Yeah.
You think he could imagine
Paradox.
He'll contrive various ways, methods. He'll try to give his life in order to please the one whom he loves. Yeah. It is the manifestation of love to please the other party.